All right, guys, we're out at Sawmill today. We got Tiny, we got the Volvo, we got a Mack truck around here somewhere, and we're gonna try to move an absolute mountain of bark. I don't know how far we'll get, but let's find out. All right, guys, so here's kind of the plan and the thought process. We were supposed to get a lot of rain last night. It didn't happen. They're still going for a lot of rain today. We got shut down on the other jobs, and Phil said, hey, why don't you hop out here? Let's try to get some of this bark moved. They've been wanting to move this bark for years. If you guys watch Longer Waves channel, you've heard him talk about this bark pile several times. It's kind of grown out of control. What this is from, when they haul these logs into the yard here, I don't know if you can see over there, they just hauled some in. See how some of the bark falls off of them? Well, they shove it up in these piles, and over years and years and years and millions of board feet of lumber, next thing you know, you end up with a mountain of bark that you got to get rid of. They got a spot over here on the back side of the property where they can put it at, so we're going to get it loaded up in Tiny and load it up the truck and hopefully get it out here if I get up on this pile that's falling off of it. Come on, baby. I'm gonna take some of this out right here so I can see what the hell I got. It looks like logs, but it's not, it's just bark. I'll shove it at that. This is some of the freshest stuff. This is stuff they just pushed up yesterday. We get into that other stuff over there, it's gonna be a lot more broken up and not near as tough as what this is, where it's in full stringy pieces. I think this big bucket's going to work pretty good. I don't want to swing the other way, I don't want to swing over his cab right there. Whenever he takes off to dump, I'll get myself repositioned just a little bit. Over there, but it is a bunch. Absolutely no like to it at all. Weight-wise, volume-wise. Alright, so Phil just stopped by here to check on what we got going on. He's thinking we need to take some of this better bark, what we got here, this stringier stuff, and get down here in the ditch. So we can get these trucks across this ditch here in a minute. load out some of the nastier stuff on the truck. So it may take me just a second here to get this truck loaded, because I'm going to try to save some of this better stuff when we get across the ditch. We should be up and running pretty strong here for too long. I got a feeling we're going to wish we had a third truck, but can't have it all, I guess. Tell you what, that Mack truck, yardage wise, almost holds as much as Tiny does. Won't carry the same weight, but this type of particular job, I think it would stay right there with it. Doing everything I can to keep these trucks moving this morning. Two trucks in this short haul is kind of keeping me humping. But we've about got this overflow pile cleaned up, and once we get this overflow pile cleaned up, we're going to jump across this little ditch here. I saved some of that better bark, Phil's suggestion, which is a good one, across that ditch. We'll climb up here on top of that big pile and start tearing it out. And as soon as I say that, guess what? Here comes another truck rolling in. So get loaded, and I'll get back with you guys when I get over there. Finally got myself climbed in on this mountain of stuff. Got some bark across the ditch there. I don't think Tiny's going to have any trouble with it. A little bit worried about the Mack, but we'll get a few loads out here and see what happens. I need to get a few loads out here and make me some room. Come on back. That'll work.
Get some drone footage before it starts raining. There's just pull this ready.
Now this
You got mail.
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Okay.
I'm gonna turn longer way loose for a second, let him run the old Volvo. But this is the mountain of bark here. I'm gonna try to throw the drone up in the air and get a little bit of footage here before he gets too carried away. See what happens. Alright guys, start of this video kind of got off to a slow start. There was just there was a lot going on. These two trucks really kept me humping, and then in between trucks I was trying to get this crossing set up and kind of get my first bench set in on the pile here. But one thing's for sure, never a logger way to run your equipment. It's going to be two things: entertaining and possibly slightly dangerous. But this is his first couple buckets with the 120. He didn't miss a stride. He hopped right in and started swinging like a champ. Did not get a chance to ask him what he thought about the machine. It was a busy morning. But this will kind of give you a little bit of a scale of the pile. Them first few buckets that come out of this pile, I'm not gonna lie, they were a little daunting when you look at the window and see the size of this. But you guys will just have to stay tuned to see how we got along. But the two trucks in the Volvo end up being a pretty good match. You'll see here as the video goes on, we got along pretty well, especially after we kind of got us a system set up. It ended up working out really well. I was trying to get in there, get a close up a logger way, but it didn't quite pan out. He's too fast for him. But swinging around here, I'll get a shot of Wade also loading Tiny. But yes, here you go, guys. This is a good shot, and we'll freeze frame it right there. Yes, look at that. That is 20 years of bark they've accumulated. It's just crazy. I don't know, I hope this picture shows the size and the scale of that pile. But basically they ran out of room to stack it, and it was as you can see, the overflow pile, it was already on the other side of the road there. It was starting to take up room in their log yard, so they had to do about it. And I'll talk a little bit more in depth here as the video goes on of what the plan is. If you look over there, you also see Joanne on the loader. She's loading out some pulpwood logs. Alright guys, we'll follow Tiny out here real quick. I'll show you guys the route. We are literally taking this stuff from one end of the property to the other, heading out across the log yard here. You can see Eli, he's sorting some logs that he just come in off the other job. And yeah, watch out. Oh, hit another gear here. Watch out coming around the truck. That's the office and the mill there to the left. That's the fab shop that Wade works in most of the time. If you guys watch Logger Wade, if you don't, you should. And you'll be pretty familiar with all these. The mechanic shop's up there to the right. But this here is just kind of an area they built over the years to store miscellaneous stuff. You see the bridge they use on some of their jobs and things like that. So they're just kind of tucking this away to add a little area here and possibly reclaim this for topsoil one day. And that's Phil there in the dozer pushing off. But yeah, it was about 7 or 8 minute round trip for these trucks back and forth to get to the dump site and back to me, and we cycled around pretty good. Need to move my bucket before somebody ends up running it over, but I think that bark's going to hold up pretty good, as wet as what it is. Looks like we're going to have a fighting chance. The way he's going to pound the Volvo up there. It didn't quite make it. We got a little bit of a swell right there. We're gonna blame this on Logger Wade somehow. I don't think you got enough truck to pull it.
Overkill. What's that them cranberries call excessive force?
We'll get a little bit of dry bark up there. I think you'll be good. Trouble getting that trucks out. We got a little bit of fresh bark in there, and well, you look at that time. Johnny don't have no problems. He rolls right out of there. All right, guys, we've been running pretty hard. Truck's been getting out of here good, but the rain has officially set in. Not too worried about Tiny, but hopefully we can keep that truck going with all the rain. I think we can. It's got a pretty solid base down there where we dug out, so we'll just have to keep after it and see what happens. Yeah, it's been raining. Sawmill's running full bore. I don't know if you can hear it over there. All right, guys, by this point in the day, we hit our stride here pretty good. We were trucking along. But one thing I want to address, I know I'm going to get a bunch of comments on, is, oh my goodness, you should have had a third truck, or oh my goodness, you should have had a bigger machine. And one thing you guys got to realize is sometimes bigger is not always better. This machine was matched perfectly to keep these two trucks busy. I had just a little bit of time in between trucks occasionally. That would allow me to jump down, fix the road, get the loading ramp set up, etc., etc. But for the most part, it was truck after truck after truck. So if you haul a bigger machine in here and you're loading these two trucks, well, at that point you're paying a higher rate for that machine, and then you're just going to have more idle time in between trucks. So you're just paying a machine to sit there and idle. So I guess the next part of that is you get a bigger machine and you add a third truck. So now you're paying for a third truck and a bigger machine. And yes, you're going to get done quicker, but somebody's got to do the math on that and find out if that extra hourly rate that you're paying for that larger machine and that extra truck is really worth it. If it's kind of a give and take scenario. Take a little longer and have a less per hour cost, or get it done a little quicker and have a higher per hour cost. A lot of times you'll find out sticking around for an extra day, day and a half is actually your cheaper route. So you just got to do the money and the math on that. We hauled about 230 loads out of here in 2.5 days. So we were definitely moving some yardage. So I hope that explanation kind of explains why we were going about this the way we were. That's the machine I got. That's the two trucks Phil and Joanne got. And they were matched pretty well on this job. Did you guys see the smoke come out of the hood there? He killed it and the truck took off running backwards. But anyways, that's why we matched up everything the way we did. And guys, we got along pretty good. Alright guys, we've been trucking along. We've been running for about 4 hours here, and I have been loading trucks non-stop. It's been one right after another, but we're getting there. We had to patch the road a few times getting in here, but we haven't got any more trucks stuck. Everything's been going pretty smooth. I don't know if you guys can see it whenever I dig into this pile, but it is hot. It's like sitting on top of a big old sauna. I guess it's a big old compost pile. And I got the AC running almost full bore trying to stay cool in here. But the machine's been doing good. I haven't been heating up or anything. I've been trying to kind of keep an eye on everything. Phil's on the other end, the dozer pushing off. That's all going good. It takes me, depending on if I get into bark or if I get into this other nasty stuff that's somewhat compost, it takes me about 3 or 4 minutes to load a truck. I can actually get about the same amount of material on both trucks, but if I get into this heavier stuff, I don't load that Mack quite as heavy. But this 140 handles this large bucket pretty good. The stuff's just a mixture. You never know what you're going to get into. Some places it's dry, stringy bark and it's real light. Other places it's like this where it's real wet, semi-composted. I think Phil said this pile has been growing here for about 13 or 14 years. So think about how massive this pile is. This whole pile was created by that loader skimming off the log yard out there, pushing this stuff up. So think how many semi-loads of just bark they've hauled into this mill over the years. It's just crazy how it adds up like that, but it's definitely a lot. I think the plan is, I talked to Phil a while ago, we're going to load out of here for about 2.5 days straight and get as much of this pile moved as we can, which I think my guess would be at least half, maybe close to 2/3 of it moved. And then look at all that steam coming off that. You see how hot that is? Half to 2/3 of it moved. And then he's thinking that'll gain him 9 or 10 more years of sawing, and who knows what's going to happen in that time. So give him some room to stockpile again. How many buckets can we get on Tiny? I don't think we can get one more. What do you think? It's not rolling off the other corner over there. I lost track of how many I put on there as I was talking to you guys. We'll put one more on there for good measure because the other truck's not back waiting yet. That ought to do the trick. Need a yardage amount instead of a tonnage amount. Alright, we'll send him on his way. Off he goes. I got this set up. Better watch where he's going. He's going to run off the side there. Probably not a good idea. He went for it. Oh, we about found out how the articulation joint worked right there. But alright, we got Tiny sent off and we got the other truck back. I was going to explain to you guys, there is kind of a method to my madness about how I'm going about this. Getting these jobs set up for production makes all the difference in the world. What you guys can't see on camera is that ramp coming in there is on a pretty good incline going downhill. If that ramp's not on an incline, this truck here, this stuff with the rain and everything else, he can't take off. We'd be pulling that truck out of here every time. So we use gravity as our tow truck to get them started. Other than the first couple that you see in the very beginning with Wade, well, it wasn't Wade's fault loading them. We didn't know what we were getting into. We haven't had any more trouble today with him getting stuck. Now I say that, he'll be stuck here. I have had to go down there and patch a few holes in the road with bark, but for the most part he's getting that out pretty good. There is the position of it, is that's how far I can reach. And then what I'll do is I'll dig right around the back of this truck and I'll go right back down the other side, and we can use that same ramp for a pretty good little swap of this pile here. So then the way they got everything staggered, they got plenty of room out there in the log yard to turn around and come back in. So I try to get the lighter material on this truck and I try to put the heavier material on Tiny. But sometimes you ain't got no choice but to load what's in front of you. So yeah, find what you got. There's a lot of, I guess they push this off with a bulldozer from the way it looks. A lot of the bigger slabs are on the back side over here. So I'm trying to load this truck from the back side with that lighter stuff. I don't know if you guys can see down there, it's still some decent bark. And then whenever Tiny gets back, but not be too crazy here, end up undermining myself. Tiny gets back, I'll load this wetter stuff out here in front of me. That truck handles the weight, especially with them floater tires. It gets out of this little corner a lot better. Using this truck here, as long as we get it rolling, we'll go downhill and get on out of here. Just gotta be careful not to overload it. It's, get the wrong material on this truck, you can definitely get her overloaded. And let's put one more on her for good measure. Got some nice dry stuff right down here. Let's hope he don't make a liar out of me. He backed up a little farther this time than he normally does, because I'm getting farther back here, so I hope he didn't back into a hole. I apologize, my windshield's dirty. It's been raining and everything else. Yep, he's full. Here he goes. Oh yeah. Gravity works like a champ every time. Well, we were doing so good for so long, and then gravity was not our friend no more. We got back in here far enough, my ram started flattening out. If he can't get going, gets him stuck. I even got him loaded pretty light, but hopefully we'll get him pulled out here. Oh, that's not good. Well, I guess if all else fails, you go get a skidder and hope for the best. There we go. On the move again. Alright guys, we're back to rolling. I just talked to Junkyard there. We've been home for about 7 hours at this point, and we're right at 100 loads, about 50 loads per trip, or 50 trips per truck. And that's our first major hang up there. It's a combination of a few things. The farther you get back here, I guess the longer that pile's been there and it's been broke down a little longer, and it's less bark and more dirt. And on top of that, it's wetter. It's a total lot of water back here. So we just switched sides. We're going to deal with that tomorrow. Start loading out this side to finish running out today. Phil's thinking we may come and grab some good dry bark and throw it out whole if we need to, and allow us to load out down there. But we're going to run a few more hours here this afternoon. Try to get what we can. This is a massive pile. We've definitely put a dent in there for sure. We're not going to get her all out of here in 2.5 days, but we're going to put a pretty big dent in her for sure. That's no doubt about that. This 140 at this large bucket, of course, this bark, it's hard to judge weight on it, but it definitely handles this thing over the side considerably better than the 120 would. Some of these trucks that go out of here are ridiculously heavy. Some of them are light, it's like stacking a bunch of feathers in there. Just kind of all depends on where you grab the bark from. Some of it's dry. See how it's dry? It's hard to tell the difference between the dust and the steam. You never know for sure what you're going to end up with. Now we got that little bit of rain out of here. It's ended up being a pretty nice day. Got the door back open. Smell of the sawmill. Get this out of here so I can see what I'm doing. This track has been moving pretty much non-stop, 7+ hours. Curious to see what the fuel burn is on it at the end of the day. I'm not running in the H mode, the horsepower mode. I'm just running in the G mode, which is standard mode on most excavators, I guess you could say. It seems to got plenty of power for what we're doing. We don't need any extra. Well, if I stay in that dusty stuff, I may have to shut the door back up. At least the wind's blowing the right way. One more on them, going good. Now see what I'm doing and I don't like it. I lied, we'll go one more. Should be able to get back down to where we're at here pretty easy. That hole back there is the sucker hole. We're going to stop them about right here. Don't get too far away from us. Load them up. Oh yeah, no problem this time. See how much he loses out his tailgate. Alright guys, I believe we're going to load what's going to be the last truck of the day. I guess it's truck number 100 for today. It ran about 8.5 hours and knocked 100 trucks out of here, so I'd say that's pretty good with the conditions and the machine we're using to load. I'm pretty pleased with that. I was double checking my fuel consumption here. I reset it this morning and I haven't taken lunch, break, or anything. Had a few small stops in between here and there with trucks getting stuck and talking to people, but this machine has not been sitting hardly at all. It's been moving non-stop. By far the hardest I've ever ran this old girl. Next closest would probably be that basement we dug, but the computer's saying we're using, I don't know if you can see that on the screen, but 8.1 gallons per hour. And according to... Alright guys, so the way I said this in real time did not make any sense at all, so I'm going to jump in here real quick and voice this over. So the computer screen, there's a chance either I'm not smart enough to read it or the machine's smarter than me, but the computer screen, I promise you, says 8.1 gallons per hour. And anybody that knows anything about equipment, that's a lot. But in reality, what this machine is actually burning this day is about 7.9 or right at 8 gallons per hour, and that's an hour reading versus gallons put back in. So I'm assuming the decimal point on the display is a spot off, or I am just looking at it wrong. But we ran right at 8.5 hours, and this machine ran continuously loading trucks and burn right at 0.8 gallons per hour. So just want to jump in there and clarify that real quick, because what I said at the time did not make any sense. I'll get some drone shots of this at the end, but I don't know if you remember right there where he's getting ready to drive through. We hauled like 6 or 7 loads out of the pile. It was on the other side of the ditch. We went all the way back down through there. I've actually got around the back side of that pile. And we've started in here, coming back. Tell you what, man, they're full day tomorrow. We definitely put the dent in it today, and they're full day tomorrow. We're going to be looking pretty good. So only got harassed by logger weight once today, so that's good. But I'm going to climb off this pile, fix the road up a little bit so it'll be ready tomorrow, and then we'll go check out where they're dumping at. All right, guys, the official count for the day was 90 loads. We're going to get 100 tomorrow. That's the goal. But this is the dump site. This is where they're filling in here. Basically just filling in over this hill, pushing out. That's probably about a 20-foot lift right there, if I had to guess, going on around the corner over there. But eventually this will all be excellent topsoil as it degrades. That's over there, some they did years ago, and it's actually pretty good dirt right now. So that's going to be it for today. That's a wrap, and we'll be back tomorrow. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up the first half of this video. I hope you guys stay tuned because I think the second half's even better. But this is actually a small clip from the next morning, and as I turn the corner and kind of fly back from the drone here, it'll kind of give you, if you guys remember the shot in the beginning of this, kind of give you a little bit of an idea of how much of a chunk of this pile we took out. We definitely put a dent in her for sure, and you guys will just have to stay tuned to the next video to find out if we get her all out of there. So guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. And if you guys want any Dirt Perfect gear, head to dirtperfect1.com. See you guys. We'll catch you on the next one.